It's Saturday. We're live. It must mean it's the War Room coming to you in glorious 720p. Hope you're all doing well. Got the usual two crew members here, but we've also got a special guest, Sam London, designer of Firefight Tactical, which we played last night. So hopefully we can get some questions from the old chat and the like. But you're doing well, Sam. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. Looking forward to chatting.
Right. And how are you two, ne'er-do-wells?
I am doing great. I'm excited. I'm really excited to hear from Sam. I hear great things about Firefight. I hear great things about Sam, actually. I texted Mike the other day on our little Facebook group. I'm like, you know what? We're going to have a poll to see, some designers and see if we can get some people. And I figured Mike might know some people. And the first person he mentioned, he said, try to include Sam London. And I'm like, okay, put you down on the list. You're on the list for people to try and get on. Well,
I preempted you. Sorry about that. It was a thing to do. We were having so much fun, and Sam was kind enough to come into the chat. If you don't know, we were playing Sam's game.
Cheerleader. He's always trying to get me into stuff. So.
Mike's great. He's the same with us as well, trying to encourage us to do the stuff. But we were playing the game live last night, 2-player, because it's got a great solo bot as well, and it sort of it's quite an intricate sort of solo bot, isn't it, with different decks and things and different setups. And
yeah, it's really not that hard to throw together. The big selling feature I put into it is that there's multiple decks that each represent a different disposition for the bot. So it's either reckless and does stupid stuff, but when luck works out for them, they win by a mile, or it's cautious and a little bit more consistent. But the intention is that you can kind of shuffle them together and get a more nuanced adversary each time.
All right. That sounds great. We're going to have hopefully lots of questions about the game. If you haven't seen it, me and Tony's on Tony's channel. It's also on mine now. So if you want to go and see it, have a look. It's 2 hours of fun. We were laughing most of the time. But talking about you two chaps, what have you been up to, Tony? This week?
Well, I did. I played some ASL on Wednesday. Yeah, I know. There's a local guy that
does Mitch know this? Did Mitch authorize this?
No, as a matter of fact, he gave me crap about it too, which I knew was coming anyways. So, but there's a local guy. There's actually a group of them, but this local guy reached out to me a couple months ago and say, "Hey, would you be interested in?" Well, I'm a sucker for a tactical game and some face-to-face gaming, and he's like, "Okay, we'll just do starter kit," which is fine. It's 40 pages of rules, which most of them you don't use, even so. Lots of fun, great time. Had a good time with it. I almost won. I lost on the last die roll of the scenario. So yeah, he had me surrounded, and all I had to do was survive the melee, and I had knocked out or pinned a bunch of his units coming into melee in my hex, and I just couldn't quite. So, but I did tell Mitch though that a scenario where me and Mitch were playing, I actually used his defense, and it got me as far as that. So he did with ATS. So the defense, it's interesting between ATS and ASL. A lot of the defense you can use the stack tactics and strategy. A lot of it can overlap, and especially positioning it.
Nice. Sorry, just before I come to you, what I forgot to say hi to everyone in the chat. Better do that, otherwise, we must do that. Even though it's was it San Diego HistCon on today.
Yeah,
we've got 35 people already in here.
Oh, jeez.
So that's guys. Phoenix
That's
Knight,
awesome.
Stephen, hi here. There's David, Michael, Charles. Good to see everyone. great that you show up every week, and we get some new peeps every week as well, which is fantastic. Rob, wet and stormy. It's not nice over here. Oh, you're in Wales, even worse. Ken. Oh, it's Michael again. Oh, here he is. Look, there he is. There's
There he is.
Marco, Timothy. Look, crikey. There's the other Mike. Hi, gang. Yeah, hiya. Did I say hello to Carl? But if not, there's Carl. E4 Airman. I think I said hello to. If not, oh, Richard. Brian.
Oh,
Crikey.
a lot of
There's
good people there. A lot of
loads
good
of new
people.
people. Fantastic. Sorry,
Yeah.
Chester. That's everybody. And so what it I need to get. How do we not show that then? Ah, there we go. Right. Chester, what have you been up to? You've been bragging again with this 10-game challenge.
I've been bragging a little bit. Yes, we just started our 10-game challenge for 2024. Sam, I don't know if these guys talked about it yesterday or not, but we challenged everyone to create a list of 10 war games that they're going to play this year. Very simple. And all you have to do is create your list, post your list, and play your games. And then we give out prizes at the end of the year for those people that completed it. It sounds easier than it is, to be honest. You think, oh, that sounds very simple. I can create a. Here's the problem. You create your list and you start your list and you start playing your games until you realize, oh, there's something new that came out. I'll play that later and later and later. And you never get around to it. So this is our fourth year we've done. I'm sorry, Tom.
Yeah. We're like bass, shiny new things. We go after the shiny things.
Yeah.
So it's all about. It's not about playing. Playing 10 war games isn't the hard part. The hard part is figuring out which 10 you're going to play is the hard part.
And sticking with it. Yeah.
Yes. And I'm on number 2. I completed number 2 already, which is. I only think last year I only completed 3, so I'm really on a roll here. So this is really weird that I've completed this. So, but and then not to brag or anything, but tomorrow at 8:00 on my channel, I'm doing my top 100 games of all time countdown with Phoenix Knight and Higher Ground Gaming. So if you guys are available, come on to my channel tomorrow at 8:00. 100 to 99 starts tomorrow. So lots of things going on. And it's all good.
Hi, Groucho. It's cool. Oh, what's that? Just Thomas said hello. But talking about that.
Oh, Mike, I haven't sent your stuff. Monday. I'm going to ship it out Monday. Mike actually won the last one of our prizes we gave away. And it's still sitting here on my stack of stuff. So sorry.
Well, I'm pleased to report that I've sent both my one out, my games that people won from over this part of the world. They've been sent out, and I think one's already got his. And sent me some postage, which was very nice of him. And so thank you, Alan. And the other 2, I contacted VUCA. They're on their way. But the only problem is, Patrick did email me for some reason. I think it's a German thing. There may be custom charges. I get them when I get stuff from VUCA, so I'm hoping it's not going to be a lot, but they are on their way, and I hope it isn't too much, in the way of custom charges. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, there were great games donated by VUCA, so
yeah,
congratulations. Thank you so much for that.
So I've done mine are all done.
Yeah, I've got my 2 here. I'm going to the post office this week. It was kind of a crazy week last week after the crazy show we had. So it was a good show, though. Great show. Awesome show.
Yeah, think about how many people we could get if we give away more free games.
Well, we couldn't. I think we tried to, but the time it was a 3-hour show, Sam, we did at end of year celebration. We give games away, and who did their 10 games from last year and all that sort of thing. And 3-hour show just went like that. Mm-hmm. This is 2 hours. You're going to have to sit on your backside there, Sam. So
I've already fallen asleep.
I rarely get up from this chair most of my life. So this is 2 hours is nothing for me.
Same here, sitting in front of a blooming computer all day.
Sam, since I didn't get a chance to talk with you yesterday, because I know you did your show with Tony and Ruff, and I wasn't able to be there. Can you kind of go over a little bit of your background for us? Kind of, when did you get into gaming? How long have you been developing games? Where do you stand?
Yeah, where you're coming from, Sam? That's what we want to know. We want to know all the
a little bit of history. Like if I pull out a game like, Teotihuacan, are you going to know what the hell I'm talking about? Like these two yahoos didn't even know about Ticket to Ride.
So you just want my gaming history?
No, we want to know.
You want to give us your personal history? That's great.
Yeah, any nitty gritty dirty bits, we'll have those as well. I don't care. But things like, how long you've been playing games? Is it a lifetime thing since a child?
Yeah, it's a lifetime thing. So from the time I was my son's age, so 6, I think, all I wanted to do was be a video game designer. And so for years I worked towards that, and then ended up in the video games industry, not as a designer, but as a producer. And I was in the video games industry for about a decade. And then I actually, before that, I fell horribly out of love with video games.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, and in love with board games. And so I got really into that hook, line, and sinker right around 2006, 2007, right around there. And then around the same time, I started to design like a lot. And so I was always working on stuff, but I was very much down on myself. No one's ever going to want to buy this crap. And then at times being in this office at 3, 4 in the morning, working on a design. And then I just get like, why am I doing this? No one's ever going to see this. And it wasn't until a couple of years ago with Firefight Tactical, you know what, I'm going to try to sell this, because I actually designed it for GMT specifically.
I was going to ask you how they picked it up. Off you go. Yeah.
So I pitched it to them, and they took it, and I was like, wow, I'm 1 for 1. And so then I was like, well, gee, I wonder if anybody else would be interested in my stupid crap that I write down. And turns out they are. And so I've had considerable success since then. Firefight Tactical is anything that's been announced publicly. But so in essence, 15 plus years experience making games, although my dedicated local test group is the only people that have encountered most of them. But now I'm starting to try to get more of this stuff.
Where are you at? Where are you located?
Like
California. Okay.
Well, that's handy for GMT
with the GMT stuff.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. But so this is the first game or the first war game you've designed?
First game, so both. So is that all those years I play everything. I play war games, I play Euro games, I play more
like all of us. Yeah, like all of us. Yeah. Unlike board gamers, we play war games and board games. Board gamers tend to play board games and not war games, but war gamers tend to play board games and war games. So yeah.
But I never in all those years had any inspiration to make a war game. And it was actually kind of bugging me, because I'm like, how come I have, some gets in my head. I'm like, I have to work on this, and I spend months on it. How come that little thing has never been a war game with how much I enjoy war games? And Firefight Tactical was the first one. And then I was, after Firefight Tactical, I was like, well, great, that happened. Well, now if I was going to design another war game, what would I go with? And then I, actually, that's not entirely true. The game I made based on that was crap, and I threw it in the bin. But then what I learned from that to try to solve the same problem was the next game that got picked up. So now it's I'm unplugged. I have war game inspiration as well as other genre inspiration now.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, you say you've always been playing war games. What sort of war games have you played?
So my very first board game, us grogs, what we consider a war game. I consider myself a grog. But
do you? No. Because you're not old enough to be a grog for a start.
But I play Advanced Squad Leader.
There you go.
But the first one that got me was actually No Retreat. GMT's redo of No Retreat. I went to KublaCon, which is a game convention that happens in Burlingame, California. And I was walking around, and I hadn't been playing war games at that point. I'd just been playing, Euro type games. and I was walking around the convention floor, and it was so cliquish. Like no one actually wanted to, kind of greet somebody that they didn't already know already. And so I walk into the war game area, and it's the complete opposite. You walk in there, and everybody's like, "Oh, why don't you sit down and we'll talk you through this?" I was like, "Well, this is welcoming." And this gentleman, whose name I've since forgotten, invited me to sit down, and he'd teach me No Retreat. And I just had a blast. I had so much fun. And from there, it was off to the races. And now you would have a hard time.
I'm pretty sure that guy was Herman Lootman.
Yeah, he's the sort of person who would do that.
But I play everything. I have, as you probably imagine, I have way too many tactical games. I also love
No. How many tactical games do you need, Tony?
Just one more.
Just one more.
Yeah.
And then strategy games and all that.
I think you should put that right on the cover. So when people look at your game, they go, Firefight Tactical? Oh, I just need one more tactical game.
Yeah.
They're right. So
but
how
did
you get that idea? Oh, before you go on, I just want to show peeps. Here's one of my games on my 10 list that turned up today. No, yesterday was it? So zombies, Russians, and Germans, World War II. What more could you want in a game? Yeah,
I would love that game. Yes, sir.
So that's it's a book thing like what's that famous game? They've done one in the snow now. Big RPG game. I haven't got it. Frosthaven and Gloomhaven.
Gloomhaven.
You know the Gloomhaven Light, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
That comes in a book with all the so does that. Yeah. So so that's good. Sorry.
I would be able to complete more of mine if I got more of my games in. Oh, look. Get more of my games
this
in.
Man gets more games than anybody on the planet. No wonder he's playing 100 games a year.
Yeah, no kidding.
I don't know what he's going to be like when he retires. What's he going to be like when he retires?
Let's see what we got.
I'm betting that's from Compass.
Ah, right, yeah. I like the way he's transporting in and out of existence,
Yeah.
Yeah. Jester's actually AI generated. That's why he keeps flashing in and out.
Yeah. No real person will play the amount of games he plays. Yeah. These are all on your list, aren't they?
Oh, the last one's a big boy. Woo.
Yeah, I think they are. Yeah, they're all on his list. Yep.
Yeah, they're all on his list.
That's a heavy game. That is an insanely heavy game.
Well, the thing is, there's every submarine that the Americans had in the Pacific War, and the Brits in the Pacific, and the Dutch,
Japanese,
and all the Japanese ships, all named. It's like,
and it's
crazy.
I think it's a hard-mounted board too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Here's the thing, Sam. If we stop buying games, when your game is produced, nobody will buy it. So I am trying to keep the economy going for you.
I appreciate that. I'm also trying to keep the economy going. It's so much worse with the 7th-month-old because I already the shelf of shame. You can't escape it, even when you actually have routine game nights and what have you. But you add just 7-month-old to it, and it's like now it's just I'm still buying. I didn't stop buying, but it's just
exactly.
Now you don't have the time to play. Yeah, John, he's a bot.
Yeah. Tony's actually seen me though, so
yes, I've actually met him. We had dinner.
We've actually embraced and hugged and had a long conversation in his kitchen and went out to lunch or I went out to dinner with Natalie and his wife, and so he's seen me. I'm a real person, believe it or not.
Yeah, that's the best. That's what I might do. I might do a short 3-day patrol, but it will take you more than one session. Might do a patrol in one live stream, Jester. Just one single sub, but yeah, it's a long old game. So, tell us about this game that we played last night. It's not available. How did we play it? It's on Tabletop Simulator. It's not. I think we got special permission from possibly yourself and GMT and Mike working for them. Probably pulled a few strings because we've got a copy of the typed rules, you know, the very sort of first rule set, and the game. So, and it was great fun. So how did you come about? Why that? How did it? What that subject? It's a tactical Second World War game. A little bit like some people are saying, it looks up frontish. It reminds me. Some of it reminds me of Point Blank, and because it's got cards. You got like Fields of Fire as well. It's got cards for
I was
terrain.
going to say, how close is it to like a Fields of Fire thing?
Completely different game.
Yeah.
It's superficially reminiscent of
Lots of things.
a number of games until you look at the dice, and then it's like, okay, never mind. This isn't
Oh, you
reminiscent.
have dice, so it's a dice combat.
No,
it's a dice building.
It's a dice-driven instead of a card-driven game. It's a dice-driven game. So I'm attempting to create a new genre here.
Yeah, and you might do it because it's good fun, because you've got the dice, and you've got a sort of public load of dice which you use to do actions with your squads. Then you've got your own personal privates, what we call them. We were having a laugh about it. Yeah,
you guys
so
were
got your
getting
privates.
Yeah,
And we were fiddling with our privates and all that sort
I
of thing.
applaud you for your juvenile sense of humor.
I know that doesn't change. And so, if say for instance you want to fire with a squad and it's a 4, you have to pick a 4 from the pool, either from your own private 3 dice, and it has to be the same color. Sometimes it has to be, you know, any color. So of course you're depleting all these dice, and you're nicking the dice that your opponent wants to try and stop him doing stuff. And then once all the dice have gone from the
common pool, then you have to use your own.
And it's a new turn. So you take one.
Once the common pool's gone, the whole turn's over.
Yeah, so you take the turn is actually marked out with dice as well. So when the turn is over, you take one of them dice and put it into the common pool. So that's increasing as well.
And are we talking east front, west front? What are we doing here?
So all right. So I'm going to go back to the first question, and then I'll cover the theater.
Sorry. I see. The problem is we have guests. And
we just so excited now. So you got to keep up now. Let's go.
So how I came up with it, like I said, I was really looking to design a war game, get inspiration to design a war game, and I love tacticals. And so I was thinking, okay, I don't know why. I'm not sure why. This is not usually the strategy I take when I'm trying to design a game. But I was thinking, all right, well, as a guy that has entirely too many tacticals, what would be required for me to look at one and go, oh, I'll buy that? And that I don't need to dig deeper to know I don't have this, you know? And so I was saying, okay, so it needs to be something jarring. It has to be something about it that's like, okay, this is not what I normally expect to see in this genre. And so I decided I was going to throw a Euro mechanic into it, but I didn't know which. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm going to take some kind of Euro
that's a smart move, Sam. That's a smart move.
It's a smart move because, you know, it might encourage people who play those sort of games to have a go at yours and maybe come over to wargaming.
Oh, I play dice drafting games. I could play that.
All right. And so as soon as I had the thought of dice draft, it was over. As soon as I had that thought, and it was within an hour of the positing the question to myself. And so I said, okay, dice draft, cool. How does that work? And then I got into this idea of the action menus. And then it was kind of a little bit of how do I justify making a game like this after I had already decided to make it? And it just, all the answers answered themselves. And so a lot of people superficially look at it and they say, oh, it reminds me of Fields of Fire, reminds me of Up Front because of the terrain cards. The primary inspiration for Firefight Tactical was actually Combat Commander. And the reason...
it's one of his favorite games.
The reason I wanted to go with Combat Commander is one of my pet peeves in especially tactical game design is I don't want to feel like God while I'm playing. I should not have complete control over what my units are doing. I should not be omniscient and know every single stone that's on the battlefield. There needs to be a lot of chaos in the battlefield and making the most of what's coming at me. Nice. My only problem really with Combat Commander is I can't stand it when I'm like, okay, this is what I need to do, and I get my hand and it's not there, you know, and I'm like, okay, this is rough, you know. And so I got really excited when I realized that the dice draft addressed that problem, because it's so likely when you first roll the pool if these are my top 2 things that need to happen, they will get done. They may not work out, but I can issue the orders because those dice are going to be there. But then it still has that combat commander bit of, as that dice pool gets lower, now I'm like, oh wait, I can't do exactly what I want to do.
All I can do, like I did, all I could do was find cover because there were no right dice. I could just find.
Who won the battle yesterday, Tony?
Still playing.
We're in the middle. We're halfway through the game.
Oh, you didn't finish. Oh,
No,
okay. Because
no,
it's
we were
45
learning
minutes.
and-
All right. You took 2 hours and you were only halfway through.
See, these game times on the back of boxes are very subjective. all
I
right?
am very. I always, when I'm telling people how long it takes to play the game, I'm saying if you both know what you're doing already.
Oh, I know what it was. It was Butter Jelly was teaching it. That you say no more. Say no more. I understand.
So we have
He
nicknames.
is an
for
awesome
most,
teacher.
most of the
I am not
designers.
going to give him, but he has his method and he sticks with it, and it works. But it does take a little while to get.
He knows
through.
I love him. He knows it. He
Yes.
knows I love him.
No, it was great. It was great, teaching way. But also, of course, we're laughing and joking and having a good time interacting with the chat and all that. So it's
I wish I had been on stream when
you're coming on next time.
when Sergeant Weber caught that stray bullet in that house.
Yeah.
I just started laughing like crazy, and
Yeah.
you guys are trying to figure out, okay, so what does this mean? And I'm just like no, he's dead.
He's
Like,
dead. Yeah, thank you. That was my sergeant. Thank you.
Was that a Brit? Was it a Brit that got killed?
No,
No,
I
it
was
was
playing the
German.
nasties. I was playing the
Yeah,
nasty.
he was playing the
you were
Germans. I was
playing
playing the
the
Americans.
actually, so
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
An internal joke in playtest is one of the American sergeants is Sergeant Dixon. Sergeant Dixon dies every single game, like within the first 2 turns. There's no reason it should work out that way. He just is a bullet magnet. It's amazing.
That was
Is
that
this,
was really funny. That was great.
Because what was happening, I threw the doubles, and because doubles can be good or bad, and through the doubles, I'm going, well, I threw a double. What's that happening? And Mike's sort of going, oh, I don't know. Let's have a look. And he's trying to look through the rules, and then suddenly, in the chat, in big cap, puts he's dead. Goes, spam. And then nobody's taking any notes of him, and then he writes it in big letters. He's dead. So.
Is this 2-player only, Sam?
No, so it's 2. Well, see, this is one of those things where I'm not sure what I should talk about. For the moment, it's 2-player with a solo bot.
Okay, so it is coming with the solo bot.
Yes, it is a very fully featured solo bot.
Okay,
this
you've
is-
gotten me interested, Sam.
Yeah, me too.
The solo
Got me
bot.
interested.
The solo bot is really cool. So I was touching on this earlier, but the way the solo bot works is it's a deck of cards, and the cards are a specific flow chart, and so you don't know the order in which they arrive. Something I can't stand from playing solo in games is I cannot stand when the game state hasn't changed adequately from a previous turn for the bot to alter its behavior from the flow chart. I absolutely cannot stand that where I'm like, all right, well, I already know what the bot's going to do because I understand its logic. The cards set up in Firefight Tactical, already the order in which they are going to show up, you don't know exactly what is going to happen. But as I mentioned earlier, the dispositions, the reckless and the cautious behave so differently that when you I very much encourage, it's the way you should, randomly intersperse the 2 decks, and then it's going to be much more like a human opponent where it's going to be like, okay, well, they just did something crazy, but now they're kind of backing off a little bit. It's not just going to be this consistent behavior. At the same time, it will always make sense, at least ideally.
I think this game, correct me if I'm wrong, Tony.
Yeah.
You highlighted this in your show, in your segment a couple weeks ago, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
the pre-order for it.
I've already pre-ordered this, Sam. I'm one of your peoples. I'm one of your peeps.
Well, wonderful.
We ordered it. I think we all ordered it when it came
Well, then I'm
out.
going to go
Yeah,
because
I
I
think
need
Tony
more
highlighted it
orders.
and was
If
like,
I already
"No, I
got
gotta
you.
get
I don't
the
need to
game."
be here.
No,
Yes,
we're converts. As soon as it came out, we ordered it.
Hmm.
If you haven't in the chat had a look at it, go and have a look at it on the P500. I think it's already done its 500.
It's
We're
577.
500, but I
577 right now.
need
Hey,
more.
Ruff,
and
I share my screen with you. You can just pop it up on the screen. There you go.
Oh, you see, you're taking my spot away, Jester. Like
Hey,
I was gonna.
Hey, I won't mention it yet. I won't.
Yeah.
Look at that. So Firefight Tactical, it made the cut already. Look at that. Congratulations, man.
Thank you. Yes, we have made the cut, but I need more because GMT and I are both very excited about this IP, and I have big plans for the future of it. And the sooner they are convinced in the viability of it as a flagship IP, the sooner I can get the resources to move forward with the other stuff.
Because we
Who
talked.
did your,
AKA, he's got
we talked about
expansions
this-
in the
yeah,
idea.
we talked about this briefly on the stream yesterday. You know, anything you could do, anything you could do more expansions for the Western Front, Eastern Front, Pacific,
Oh yeah,
Vietnam, anything. You know, Third World War.
Some of these are already designed. Then there's also themed, like much more specific expansions. I have quality of life feature expansions. I'm just going to talk to you about this one because I've already teased it everywhere else I've spoken. So I'll just tell you this. So the original core game, as I designed it, had a ludicrously comprehensive and powerful random scenario generator, which I was very proud of.
wow.
But it's too much to fit in the core box.
Oh no.
Bigger box.
Yeah. So what I've done is I'm ripping out. You'll see it since you have my rule book, Tony. Is the last bit of the rule book, literally the last page, is the setup for the custom scenario rules. I'm ripping out the logic from the random scenario generator and putting the rule book so people understand this is an intensely easy game to make scenarios for.
Cool.
And so that way people can still make the custom scenarios, but an expansion that I really want to make happen is going to be expanded functionality for the bot, multiplayer, and the random scenario generator. And so
Yes,
that's like kind of
random
the big
scenarios. Come on, let's bring it on.
Yeah.
How many scenarios are going to be in this core game? How many scenarios? 12.
However, I always say, so for me, 12 is a magic number in my head as a guy that buys war games. For some reason, when I see 12, I'm like, that's a good number of scenarios. But I say this over and over again. I'm definitely beating this dead horse, but I've played that Done with Sand scenario you guys played yesterday well over 100 times at this point. It has never gone the same way twice. And that's
good news. Yeah,
that's because the terrain, the random layout of the terrain deck from the Fog of War cards, you're not going to have the same puzzle ever. And then you combine that with the random nature of your dice pool and what options you have at what times.
So talk to me about the terrain cards. What do they do? What do they represent?
So the terrain is actually, this is the thing that like some people, they have a little bit of a problem with, but what it is the terrain cards sit on top of an invisible thing called a zone. And so the terrain describes that zone is the way to think of it. So the zone is absolute. The relative position of all the zones never changes. The terrain card that describes that zone is what is tactically relevant in that piece of dirt at that time. And so as units may move about in the area to try to find better terrain, they're not really substantially changing their relative position to the other units in the field, but they might find better terrain in that same area. And so it's a little bit abstracted out like that. And that's how you kind of get this idea of when you scout, you draw multiple cards. You can do lateral movement within the zone.
Have you ever played Point Blank?
So all right, I have no reason not to say this. So the way that I work is when I am looking to design a game, if there's anything that's remotely, like I detect it might be remotely like what I'm working on, I don't read it. And so when Point Blank was announced, I got really excited. And so I read, this was years ago, and when I read what was available that L&L was teasing about it, I was like, this is cool, but it's not what I wanted it to be. And so that was partially the kickoff for me to work on Firefight Tactical. I have not read Point Blank. I've never played it because I've siloed myself as I worked on FFT.
I was just wondering because in Point Blank, each of your locations can change because the location is an area and you're just moving inside that one spot. You're moving from maybe a hill to a building, but you're still in the same area. So what you were saying kind of reminded me of what they were saying.
Okay, so they came up with a similar solution.
But it's like I was saying to Mike, I think there's only 7 major chords, on a guitar,
Mhm.
they're bound to be repeating things in all the songs in all the world that have been written.
I'm not
So-
saying it.
Oh,
I'm
no,
sorry.
no,
I
just
didn't,
saying
I
it
didn't make
is
it want to
just-
seem like I just sounded similar. That's why I was
Yeah.
wondering if you
There's
would play
similarities.
anything, but-
I'm not necessarily hanging my head on the terrain engine. I'm trying to hang my hat on the dice part.
Which you should.
Yeah.
You should. Yes.
Sure.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the whole package. You can have 20 things that's like another game, but as long as your game flows different and you have different mechanics
So this
in it,
should
it's
tell
going
you
to be a
that I
different game.
don't know this. This should tell you that I'm not joking. I genuinely don't know this. In Point Blank, is it on a grid or is it a line? Like
It's
Grid.
like yours, like a grid.
so, it is a grid. Okay.
It's like
Yeah.
a chessboard. Yeah, it's like a
Okay.
chess.
Does the dimensions of the board change?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
No. Yeah.
Well,
They do.
depending on the scenario.
Depending on
No,
the
but,
scenario.
like as far as like, can it
No,
go
when you-
oblong? Can it turn into an L?
No.
Got him.
No, that's Fields of Fire that can do
Yeah.
that.
Okay. So I'm picking all over the place. Got it.
We're
You're
joshing with
stealing
it.
stuff from
It's-
everybody,
it's
so it's
a
okay.
game. It's
No,
like
it's fine.
saying, "Oh no, it's another game with a map." Everybody has a map. There's a few
That
games.
was that was on an Inside GMT article I did, which is so this is actually I don't know if I want to get up to prove this. So right over here off camera, I have my binder of all my starter kit style ASL maps, and I like I said, I love ASL, but that is one of those things I cannot stand. Is if I've played a scenario, say well, no, I'm not going to besmirch them, but if I've played a scenario and I go to play it twice, I'm now going like, okay, well, either this worked, so I should do it again, or this didn't work, so I won't do that this time.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
you can't do that.
Mhm.
You can't do that. No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
can't stay
We've
away from
talked to other designers who've come on this show, and they talk about a lot of the same things that you're saying. I'm taking a mechanic that I found in another game, kind of altering it. I changed it a little bit, and I'm trying to introduce something new to wargaming. We love that.
Mhm.
Every wargaming should expand out. It's been years and years and years. I've been bitching about this for years.
And it
But they
brings
need some new blood. We need
to a
some
game.
new, interesting designs. We need some new ideas. And finally, in the last 3 years, it's really starting to take off. And I'm really looking forward to this game now.
Yeah.
So
I'm
what
not
I'm
just saying that because you're here, but
in my mind, this is kind of to go back to what we were talking about earlier. This is kind of the next step down the rabbit hole, for me after Undaunted, where you get your Euro gamers that are like, okay, this is actually war games don't have to be so intimidating and can have all this, and this isn't. I'm not always looking at a hex grid and yada yada yada, and
Right.
but then with Firefight Tactical, it's like that first it's really two scenarios are going to be quite accessible for most people, and then it's that deep end as you get further it'll get you all the way there.
I was going to say, and Mike was alluding to this last night playing our live thing. I mean, things like Undaunted are being showcased on non-wargaming YouTube channels because they think this is going to be as well, I dare say, because again, it's a very accessible. People who are used to playing Euros will know the dice thing. But you said the first couple of scenarios, after that, it can get it gets more intense. You've got
to add little pieces.
Yeah. You've
And
got
so,
old artillery, mortars, tanks, vehicles.
Yeah. So this will get to Jester's question. This is entirely focused on American forces up to and including Market Garden, Western Front. And so the third scenario is the airdrop. And so it's being dropped all over Normandy in the dark. So this gives you your night rules. And so all of a sudden you went from like, okay, I think I get it, and now everything's the same, but night rules.
Yeah, there's night as well. Yeah.
Then the scenario after that brings in snipers and mortar fire. And then the scenario after that is Carentan. And after Carentan is brings in one of the first things. Let's see if you can tell me if Point Blank did this.
Stop it! It's a different game. They're both great games.
One of the things.
Look, I wasn't trying to compare your game. I was just thinking if
no.
did you get this idea from other games. So,
a major recurring thing in the scenario design for Firefight Tactical is multiple decks, because you can have it where it's like, okay, so this part, when you're doing the random draw for this sector of the battlefield, it's dealt from and replaced from this deck, but then this deck controls this other part.
It's
and
a
so
different
for
situation.
right. So for Carentan, you have to, as the Americans, you have to cross no man's land, and so you're drawing horrible rural terrain to try to close the distance to Carentan, and then once you get there, now you're dealing with an urban deck, and so that's a very different experience.
I like that though. I like that.
Yeah.
And so that's when it starts to at that point it's kind of an avalanche, because then right after Carentan is Bloody Gulch and armor and bog and it's and artillery.
You throw everything in the kitchen sink. All right.
Yeah, I mean that's quite true. But he speaks faster than I do. This man on One Stop Co-op Shop, he speaks really like he's trying to get.
Wait a minute now. Who did it on One Stop Co-op Shop? There's Mike, who's awesome, and then there's the other Yahoo, which you can't understand a word he says.
He's speaking very fast. He's not, he's not bad. He just speaks very fast, like he's trying to get the video over. So
Michael Kelly from One Stop gave me one of the most humbling experiences of my design career so far, which was I was like, on the long shot, because I'm thinking, how am I going to reach the broader audience, not just the war gamers. And so I was like, he's kind of in the middle. He does videos on coin and stuff like that. And so maybe he'd be amenable to it. So I reached out to him, and I just, all I said was like, hey, I got this game. I didn't say anything about it, but I said it's a tactical, and I'm curious if it's going to feature a solo mode. And I'm curious if you would be willing to give it any kind of coverage. And he just responded right away. He was like, is it Firefight Tactical? And actually, yeah. And then he's just like, yes, I'm all in. And so we actually worked together quite a bit leading up to that video.
Michael Kelly's awesome. I love him. I absolutely love him.
He just talk. Is that the guy that talks very fast though?
I don't know what you mean by
the guy that did the video is the guy I'm talking about. He sort of talks very fast, like he's well into it. He's just talking very fast, trying to get.
I think he was just super excited. So yes, it was probably
that would be him then. Yeah, he's always super excited.
Well, that's good to get him on your side, Sam. Means it's a good game, because I've messaged him several times and said, every game you review, everything you say, I normally agree with. So I like everything you do. So when he's giving it a thumbs up, again, that's a good thing for me.
I'm going to answer William in the chat real quick.
Yeah, I'm going to get. I was going to come to that, but there we go.
So there's infantry, there's vehicles, there's armor.
Is there submarines?
No, there are not.
I don't know then.
William only plays games with submarines, I think.
I don't have rules yet for air support. I have plans for it, but they're not in the core game. But then, then artillery added to
there's enough to be getting on with in the game, isn't there?
Yeah, there's.
I
am at the limit of what they'll let me put in the box. They've been very kind to me as far as like, oh no, we can let you throw a few more counters in here. And because my big thing, I was talking to Mike about this, like from a year ago, I was going like, I want the vehicles to have more personality. Like I want them to be, I mean, they already have personality. They have their own mechanics, but I wanted them to have just a little bit of extra stuff on there. And I was like, they need to be able to bog. Like I need that in there that they have to worry about what they're driving through. And I wanted the tanks to be able to button up. I was like, I gotta have it. I'm sorry. And so like they're like, all right, I'll give you a couple more counters to make.
I think their main concern is because they're saying, oh, in the box. The box, I understand, I could be wrong, is one of the most expensive items in the game. Is the box. Weirdly.
I don't know.
So they're going to try and keep they don't want to make a. From what I hear, the box is quite expensive because they have to be set up and made, tailor made sort of thing.
I mean, my biggest thing is I want to keep, and this was a priority, which I kind of got. I wanted the price to be as low as possible because this is, as I was teasing, this is the beginning of what I'm hoping will be a system that carries on
Right.
quite some time.
System, you get 6
And-
expansions, you got Needs Front and Mediterranean. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then
You're gonna
people
have
have
a
been asking
bunch
me
of
like,
stuff.
would you want to do Vietnam? I'm like, yes, I do want to do
Yeah,
Vietnam.
that's it. Yeah.
absolutely, right? You could
so,
change the rules for that.
Right. And so coming from that, I'm like, all right, well, yeah, but people need to buy the damn thing. So
And I think it's P500. What is it? $44, as you say.
55.
No,
What,
it was-
P500 price.
Yeah.
3500 is 55.
55, yeah.
Oh, is
you're
it?
correct.
Right.
Yeah, sorry.
so
Which is still that's right in range with most games at that point.
For P500, yeah. I mean, it's
Yes,
going to be
so-
89, so you're talking $90 game. You're getting it for 55, so you're getting it for $45 or math
Go
hard.
on,
Hang
math,
on.
math
Math is hard. $35 off. That's a pretty good discount.
Nordic, I'm going to answer you in the chat. The terrain card size suitable for standard collectible card sleeve? No. They're going to be changed to be square cards, the same size as Barracks Emperors, if you've seen those cards from GMT's Barracks Emperors. So they do make sleeves for that size card, but they are not standard collectible card size.
Good, as long as they, because I'm a sleever. I know some of them
Me
are.
too.
You know, it's a preference.
And
It's not
on the you got your terrain card, and then I'm assuming you put the counters on top of the terrain cards. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
you move
the
your
counters
squad
have
up
your
and-
action menu on the unit counter that tells you this die will let you do this die will let you do this.
Oh, okay. All right. How big are the counters? Do you know?
They're going to be 1.5 inches.
Oh, they're gonna be good sized counters.
Nice, nice.
Well, because you got to have the action menu on it, and then
Yeah.
the die has to go on
Oh, so the actual squad cards or squad counters are going to be 1.5 inches. Is that what
1.5
you're
inches
saying?
square,
Lovely, yeah.
rounded. I
Right,
thought
all right, there we go.
Damn, you are the man. I love you. I absolutely love you.
sacrificed like 50 counters to make them rounded, but I was
You are
like,
our
no,
new
I'm
best
not.
friend. Mike Butter Jelly's been replaced. Thank you, Sam.
You know, that was a big one. That was a non-starter for me. They were like, "Oh, or we could do this," and they're rounded, and I'm like, "Okay, or they're rounded. I'll cut whatever I got."
The problem is, you see, they've done it before on certain games, and once they've done it once, that's it. You know, you can get them. You can say, "No, you did it on this game. I want rounded counters." Like, oh god, they've got us.
No, I want it to look as premium as it possibly can, because I mean,
Yes.
at the end of the day, a big part of what
Yes.
I'm aiming for with Firefight Tactical is table presence. It doesn't look like another tactical game. And so I wanted to just put kind of thing when people are playing at a convention or something, they walk by and they're just like, what the hell is this? And so making that look as nice.
How big are your terrain cards? Are they going to be the 2.5 or well, they'd be what 4x4?
They're the same size as Barracks Emperors, which I believe is 70.
Oh, they're the same size.
square.
Oh, okay.
I think that's the size of them.
Have you got that? You've got that game, haven't you, Chester?
Huh?
Barrack Emperors, you've got that game, haven't you?
Yeah, it's right there. I can see
Is
it.
it
I'd have to
accessible?
climb
Oh,
up.
maybe
the
I just
back.
want you to show us what the size of the cards are, but I don't want you to
All
kill
right,
yourself.
fine.
I don't want you to kill yourself.
Tony,
Hold on.
go ahead.
He's got it. It's 70 by 70.
It'd be easier for Tony to get it than me. I'll tell you. I would. I
Yeah,
have to
you'd kill
climb
you.
up.
I don't want to kill
back
you.
of games.
You'll be able to fit the 1.5 inch counter on there quite comfortably, you know, because it's the way I usually play. You don't absolutely have to do this, but the way that I find is easiest to play is you have one stack of your used units with the dice on top of the used stack, and then you have your available stack next to it. And so,
Oh, it's not even open, Tony. Oh, for shame! For shame!
Oh, for shame.
Shrink rip.
Oh,
shrink
my
rip,
gosh.
Live shrink rip. I haven't been actually opening them lately. I don't know why. I just get them, put them on my shelf, and then move whatever game I'm playing.
I feel that, like I said, post newborn, I feel your pain.
I am certainly glad that Mike Butterjelly has introduced us to you and kind of inspired you to come on and inspired Tony and Ruff to play with them, because this whole experience has been great so far. So thanks for sharing with it.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Sam. I mean, it is a cracking game. If it's not a difficult game, but it gets more crunchy as you get into the scenarios. And by crunchy, I mean more things to remember, more things to play with. Right, gotcha. Ah, right. Nice. And I like that. I like that. But it's not standard.
I want to share a really funny story about those cards real quick. I find this sits there. So I'm playing with John Butterfield, Firefight Tactical.
Oh, well, don't you start name dropping. He's terrible at it over there. Don't you start.
No, I'm
joking.
So I'm like a little starstruck here. You know, I'm like, wow, John Butterfield's playing my game. What's he gonna say? And so we get to the end of it, and I can't quite recall what. I think we played the St. Mary Glees scenario, and he we get to the other side of it, and he's just sitting on the other side of the table from me like this. And he's just, and he's completely silent for like 5 minutes, and I don't want to like, try to bother because he's clearly in thought, and I'm just like, okay, I gotta know, like, did he what's bothering him? What's he so? And he just go, and he finally, after being silent this whole time, he just picks up the terrain card. He's like, I don't understand why this isn't square.
Really?
Like, oh well, I mean, it can be. And he's like, yeah, it doesn't make sense. It makes the map is all weird shaped, and you shouldn't have to, they should all be square. And I'm like, okay, we can definitely do something about that. How did you feel about the game? And he goes, oh well, the game's fantastic.
Right, there we go. Endorsed by John Butterfield. It's endorsed by John Butterfield. Go and order it. That's all you need to know.
But it was such a funny moment. I'm just like, you let me stew for 5 minutes.
Right, yeah.
Anyway, it was funny because he immediately got up and went over to Jason Carr and was like, why aren't these square? Like, we can so
he has got a bit of
Sam. Come on, Sam. Get with the program. It's attention to details, man.
Yeah. But he has got a bit of clout, hasn't he, old John Butterfield? A bit of clout. He has got a bit of clout. But yeah, that was fantastic.
So we're looking now that you made the cut, we're looking at probably another year before this is even released. Do you realize that?
I mean, I am aware of that. I have certain number goals that I know about that I cannot share, which is why I'm like, let's go, because I am.
The sooner you can get them, the sooner you get in the queue.
There are chances of it being printed sooner rather than later, but it needs to get that kind of support. So I'm looking.
They'll bump it up if it's going well. Yeah.
The other thing, here comes another tease. My second game will be formally announced in Q2, and so I'm looking at going like, okay, well, I'd kind of like to already have some clout from Firefight Tacticals going and off to the races. Maybe
hold on. You've got another game coming out unrelated to Firefight.
Yeah, totally different IP.
Can you give us, because it's only us, nobody's listening, can you just give us a little tease, something so we can grab onto what it might be about? Go on, you won't get into trouble. Nobody's listening.
It's just the four of us.
Yeah, it's only us. It's only and the peanut gallery.
We're not even live yet. Yeah, we're just practicing.
They'll keep stum.
I am working on like I said, there's a number of games that are coming. So I do want to. I have to say this is hilarious to me. Well, see, Mike has propped me up here. Mike, we don't know what the second game is yet because they haven't told me which of my.
He's just about to give us a little bit of a tidbit about that, Mike. Hopefully.
But
I mean,
I'm
like rough though at this point. What game don't I like? I mean, good Lord, I buy them all, so it doesn't matter what it is.
I like everything. Me, yeah. So you were saying, Sam? Sorry.
Yeah. So I have two games that I'm not sure which one will be first. One of them is a lightning fast playing Space 4X game. I'm talking. I have gotten this to. This is not an exaggeration. I have people that can attest to this. You can play through your turn of this Space 4X game in under 6 seconds. It is that fast. It's about the actual play time for the game is 15 minutes per player. This is kind of my magnum opus. I've been working on this game for 8 years. And so that one I am very, very, very excited
about. Is it going to be GMT or are we talking different company?
No comment.
Oh.
Wait. It's going to be GMT. Gene said it. So because Gene actually said it.
So it is going to be GMT.
GMT.
And the second one?
The second one is a AMREV game. That's the first in a series, I'm hoping. Although I've already had designers talk to me about wanting to do games in this series. That I'm calling the Will to Fight series, or WTF, which for some reason nobody's picking up on.
No, nothing got to change that. What the fuck are you talking about?
The Will to Fight. There you go.
But the Will to Fight, it's actually, I didn't just name it that out of nowhere. It's actually the core mechanism of the series is what I call the Will to Fight track. It's kind of an alternative way at looking at strategic level combat. But it's anyway, like I said, the first game in the series is AMREV. The core engine is trick taking.
AMREV,
And
for people
is
that don't know what that means.
American Revolution, American War for Independence.
Right.
Ooh,
The
that's
The one
Tony's
you
alley.
lost, Ruff.
Huh?
The one you lost. The one
Yeah.
you guys lost. The start of your losing.
Only because we wanted to.
Yeah.
We couldn't be bothered anymore.
Yeah. That's actually, boy. So anyway, go back into it. The game is very asymmetrical. The series is very asymmetrical. So you're playing this trick-taking game, except you're both playing from your own decks, which are entirely unique, and every card in the deck is unique. And so it's so much history have I pumped into this game. I can't even begin to tell you. But
It's one of my It's. I mean, I'm trying to get into American Civil War stuff. Really trying, but you know, War of Independence, American Revolution. I like that. So yeah. So,
anyway, those are the two.
So it's going to be one of
Well
those two.
Yeah.
All right. So whenever Gene decides to pump up the second one, that'll be one of the two will be the second one. All right, I got you. That's fine.
They're both as from a development perspective, they both have their own challenges. So it's kind of I honestly whatever order in which they want to go for them, I'm fine.
well, whatever order they're coming through, and if Mike Butter Jelly has got any influence there, we may be playing it live before anybody else. So that would be cool. That would be cool. So yeah,
We do world premieres here. You realize, Sam, not to brag, we had the world premiere of Plum Island Horror here just a couple like 6 months ago. Yeah, Herman introduced it to us. We did he gave us the tabletop simulator and played with us. We introduced it to the world. We can do the same for you, my friend. You saw how well the Plum Island Horror went.
With the one we did with Herman, I've had more comments saying, "Oh, you played this wrong. You played this wrong," and I'm thinking, we had the blooming designer. You know, what chance have we got? You know, it's
that's right.
Yeah. So we did Wolfpack. We did Tank Jewel, the American
world premiere of Mr. President from Tony. Thank you very much, Tony.
Mike got me into that, and I was like, can we live stream this? Because this will be great. And he's like, I have to ask Gene, and then he's like, yep, we got permission from Gene, and it is still, especially when it came out, it is still one of my #1 watched videos because people
literally tens of people watched it.
Dozens.
A dozen people watched it.
Gene come out and was helping.
Our second.
We don't see Gene out very often. Yeah. So
our second live stream, he jumped in and was really great. It was fun to have him on and everything. So that was So yes.
I want to jump on chat real quick. Ian, so my Space 4X game, I originally designed to get a 4-player 4X game in at lunchtime at my work back when I used to work in an office. So yeah, it is definitely it can be a lunchtime, but at the same, I mean, at SD HistCon, we got 2 8-player games in of it, both in under 2 hours.
I see Eldritch Horror on your shelf right there?
Yep.
That's one of my all-time favorite games, man.
This was my #1 game of all time for about 7 years, I think.
Second edition. Is that the rotten second edition one?
Arkham Horror.
No, that's Eldritch Horror, not Arkham.
Eldritch hasn't had another edition.
Oh, what you mean? The one I've got up there, you mean?
There isn't a second edition of Eldritch. You might be thinking of something else.
I'm thinking, no, there.
I see Eldritch.
He's got Eldritch. Yeah.
That's Eldritch Horror, yeah.
No, it's the Arkham Horror 3rd edition that's a piece of
that's the one everybody hates.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to reprint the old second edition.
Anyways, I was looking at some of your other games you play there.
You were like a
little bit. You play other games besides wargaming.
I do. I play all kinds. You want me to name drop? Is this a prompt for me to talk about the games?
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, talk about some of your other favorites, some of the things you like, some of the things you don't like. I mean, we're looking for getting an Eldritch Horror game going. If hell no, you might get an email someday saying, "Hey, we're looking for a 4th."
I adore Eldritch Horror. I had these brought in from Poland for my Eldritch Horror. These are the best.
Oh, I've seen those. What's his name uses them?
So good.
Cat Weasel uses them.
Cat Weasel.
You can't get them anymore.
So other games that I play, I should
Spirit
say games
Island?
I'm doing
Is
now.
that Spirit Island behind you? What is
Yeah,
that?
I
behind
love Spirit Island. I'm a big Level 99 Games fan. So a lot of their fighting games. BattleCon Exceed is right here.
you? You got
Tank
Bullet
Duel
Heart?
is right up here for Mike. I got Napoleonic Wars is next. This is kind of my favorite stuff shelf over
Within
here.
easy reach. Yeah.
Yeah, Band of Brothers is right here. The Band of Brothers series. Yeah, bunch of there's just crap everywhere.
It's everybody's game rooms. Look, I've got a bit of look. It's showing this bit of a dirty bit down there. Look, very untidy, but that's where I keep my old empty boxes and things.
Yeah. Like I said, ASL stuff's over here. What else have I been enjoying lately? Yeah, I just haven't been able to play as many games lately. As
No, you sound a little
No,
busy.
it's only one of us.
Deciding.
Now, Eldritch Horror. You play solo.
I've played quite a bit actually.
Now, there's a bit of a bone of contention. How many investigators do you use?
One.
They say it's best with 4. You play it with 1.
I do.
Wow.
Now here, let me. This is a very important thing. I am a firm believer. If I am playing so I have all these different, co-op experiences and everything. When a co-op game arrives and I sit down, I play it, and I win, I pretty much throw it straight into the trash. Because I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. If I just beat this thing and I barely even read through the rule book, how am I supposed to get joy out of this game? So I like to get ground into paste by a cooperative game, and especially
Tony says that all the time. Tony,
yeah, especially if there's dice throwing in it.
Same way too. Yeah.
So I'm very happy to lose an imbalanced Eldritch Horror game because I picked one investigator.
You're a brave man that plays with one investigator, But yeah, I don't. I'm not sure.
Insane.
Yeah, I play with 2 because more than 2, you can't. I can't. My brain doesn't work.
Yeah, that's not as fun. So some of my favorite experiences of Eldritch Horror were me playing solo. There was one game where I started in Australia and I never left. The world ended before I left Australia.
Oh my god, that's awesome!
It's one of my favorite games of it I ever played.
Wow.
That is.
Have you got any deck builders or racing games, Sam?
Yeah, so right underneath Tank Duel is Thunder Alley. Heat's around here somewhere. I'm a big fan of the now defunct Rallyman series. I own everything for Rallyman GT, and I managed to snag a good copy of Rallyman Dirt. As far as the other question about was racing, and deck builders. Yeah, I love deck builders also. Betrayal at House on the Hill I've played. I'm not the biggest fan, but a
lot of people say that.
I own Betrayal. Betrayal at was it Baldur's Gate was the name of that one? I forgot, but the D&D one, and then the Scooby-Doo one I also own.
Oh, nice.
You big kid.
But the as far as deck builders, yeah, I'm a big fan of deck builders. Got my start with Dominion. Actually, I love Dominion so much that it's the game that got me to become a sleeveaholic, because we just completely destroyed my copy of Dominion.
No. You need to do what I do. I have a complete set, which I will show you. Hang on.
He's a nutter with Dominion.
Now I'm going to have to show him because he won't believe
me. You got to drop your background so I can see.
I'm going to drop my background.
Yeah,
and show
that's
you.
why he's got it on, because it looks like a junkyard in there. Look at all them games everywhere.
Oh, that's not bad. I'm getting sick.
Oh God, love it. No, we're just seeing your fan.
Oh, okay, all right. No, I see it.
So you have to have one set that you have in pristine condition at all times, and then you have a second complete set with all 15 expansions that you actually physically play with.
Yeah, that's why I sleeve.
Yep, that's right. Yes, I have everything for Undaunted, and what's
Edwards, yeah,
builder I love right now. There's a deck builder I've been playing that I just played Battle of Greatport, the Red Dragon Inn deck builder. That was really cool.
Yeah.
That was a very
what about Eon's End? Eon's End?
Aeon's End I liked, but I was so late to the party that I was like, this isn't for me because it's too much. So I got into Astro-Knights, and I love Astro-Knights. I love it. So I'm all in on that.
Steven, oh my God.
I know.
But chink.
Do you have that War of Mine? I can't get that anywhere.
I have it.
Yeah, I can't. We can't get it over here. It's sold out. Yeah, even the core game, it's can't get it.
So,
anyway, sorry, we've gone off.
You're a war
track
gamer.
here.
You play some
Yeah.
war games. So we always ask everyone that comes on, because this is a big bone of contention with us. You a counter clipper or no? Uh-oh, he's going to show us. He's going to show us the snow shovel, isn't he? He's going to show us the snow shovel.
Please.
I gotta find it. I can't give up. I gotta find it. Yes, I'm a clipper. I'm gonna find it.
Yes.
That's why why would I not be a clipper and then not care about getting rounded counters?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
So much nicer.
He
You
wants
realize
to be able
the 8
to.
hours that we spend counter clipping could be 8 hours that we're actually playing the game, right?
Yeah,
Dude,
but
he's
I'd
got
be
a
looking at all
7-year
those little bits.
He's got a 7-month-old infant. He can literally hold the infant and clip at the same time. You get good like that.
And the
If I'm a
rhythmic
sleever, how can I not be a counter clipper? That's one thing. And then the other thing is, I'm actually probably one of the 5 people on Earth that likes stickering the Command and Colors game.
Yeah.
I don't mind that.
That's
I
not
don't
too bad.
actually,
Yeah,
as much as I hate counter clipping, and let me tell you, I hate it a lot. They'll tell you I hate it so badly, but I do it. But I don't mind putting the
But
block.
you see, even with the GMT games where you poke them out, I know what's all that about.
Now, are you this bad?
No, I'm not that bad.
I'm not that bad.
I've stopped doing that, by the way. I'm just keeping this one. It's full.
You're going to put that accidentally.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. One of the kids is going to find that and put it on their ice cream.
Yeah. What do you put the corners back in the box? So it's like, oh yeah, I gotta keep.
Oh my god, that is.
No, and as soon as they're punched out, yes, the screws go in the garbage after I double check to make sure you don't have anything.
That's just smart.
Yeah, double check the screws. But even the nice GMT ones that punch out nice and straight, I can't stand the square corners. I have to just round them off. They look so much nicer.
Yeah, I stopped doing this. Now I have a trash can, and I'm just
I hope so. Otherwise, I was going to phone the therapist.
Yeah. Well, John says I'm ill. So
yeah, and I quite understand.
So here, I'm gonna share this pain then. How do you? Well, I don't know the kind of clipper you got. So mine is a clipper for the purpose. It's perfectly set up. It's the right radius to just do everything great. What I cannot stand is DVG counters don't fit in my clipper.
No,
I hate it.
No.
Do you have the snow shovel one or the small one?
What's
the
the
metal one? The one is
we got the little one. We call this the little one.
That exact clipper.
Yeah. The other one, the snow shuffle, is the ones that break. I've broken 2, and they're about 60 quid each.
I must have got a good one because I've had mine longer than yours.
Do you have where you have to have multiple sizes?
No, I don't need multiple.
I have the 2, the 2.5, and the 3 millimeters.
Regardless,
it's got the one in the middle. That's good enough.
Which one? 2.5. Sam, you used the 2.5.
Remind me the size.
And then this is what we call the snow shovel.
Yeah, 2 of them. 2 of them are broke.
2, 2, 5, and 3.
2, 2, 5, and 2.5 and 3 mil. Yeah.
So it must be 2.5 then.
Yeah, that's everybody.
I went with the middle because it works on both of them. It works on all the counters, even the small ones, big ones. Yes.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, that sounds a bit rude. Sorry, Sam, juvenile humor coming through again, Sam. You got to get used to
it. The 2.5 is about the one that's worn out the worst. That's the one I use for most everything.
I do have the other one as well.
You've got an early one, I think, Mike, because I've bought. I think they must be using cheaper plastic in it, and they've just broken twice.
I've had this one. Let's see, the boys are what, 11? So I've had this for 11 years.
Yeah, my one I've had, my metal one. Get in there.
Garrett's going. He's leaving and going and playing with trains. What?
Gareth,
what?
Gareth, we'll have to have a chat at.
We have trains and tanks here. I don't know what you're talking
Nothing
about.
wrong with train sets. I love them. If I had the room, I'd have a train set. I haven't got the room because I play games in the living room, and the wife puts up with it, and it's fantastic. But this is my studio here.
I need another hobby. Like I need a hole in the head right now. I have too many as it is.
I also paint miniatures.
Yeah, we all do.
No,
That has gone clear to my miniature painting is completely stalled out until this kid's grown up.
Yeah.
It's time, isn't it? You're developing and designing games. I'm trying to video games. I just haven't got enough time. But I don't paint military figures. I couldn't do that. Mine are fantasy. I mean, one of my favorite games is Shadows of Brimstone.
Yeah.
A nonsense dice chucking game, but great. I love it. It's just stupid.
I love Shadows of Brimstone, but my biggest problem with it was when I forget his name, but the guy who owns the company.
Yeah.
Now, actually, I think it was his brother who technically
That's
announced.
how they're brothers, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah. That they were no longer going to do any other games at Flying Frog. They were just going to do.
Really? Oh, I didn't know this.
That was years ago. That was years ago. They announced that. I was like, okay, I like Shadows of Brimstone, but I love Touch of Evil.
Yeah, I can't get that.
I got the big one. I got the 10 anniversary one. I've got all of them.
I'm like, why are you announcing that you're never going to give me any of these other games again?
Last Night on Earth, I got the 10-year anniversary
here, which are basically the same.
Yeah, I paint pretty much any game that I would play twice. It's just a horrible thing to say. But so right up here, I got my miniatures for Marvel Zombies. Here I also got some Blitzball guys. What do I got up here? I got here's some Warhammer Underworlds. Yeah, I paint pretty much anything that strikes my fancy.
I did that, Stephen. I drilled it, glued it, like it said in the video, and it just broke again. So it must be quality.
That's good. When are we going to do announcements and stuff?
Oh, probably towards the end for me.
Okay.
Do you want me to do me history? Shall I do me history? Get that out of the way. And we've got your Jeopardy thing to do. You've got to join in.
I mean, I just was trying to find out.
Well, you know what? Hey, let me go ahead and I'll tell everybody just so it's out of the way.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
But I have to. I'm choosing to step away from the war room, not from the war gaming or playing or anything like that. But Saturdays, I just can't leave Jester and Ruff because I have so much stuff going on Saturdays with the kids and stuff that I'm not gonna be able to make it. So instead of leaving these guys in a lurch for 2 to 3 weeks every month, I've decided to step away. You won't, and hopefully I'll be off and on, and hopefully they'll let me back on because I don't know, they might be mad at me. No, you'll see me off and on. But I have to focus on the family and having so much where I've got so much going on, and I can testify, and these guys can testify. This show, planning it, scheduling it, working on it, it's a lot of work and a lot of labor. So
people think it just happens, but it doesn't. It looks ad hoc and impromptu.
Yeah, we do a lot of off behind the scenes. So but I just have so much going on right now with the family that it's not fair for Ruff and Jester and leaving them in the lurch for, sometimes I might not even be here a month depending on what's going on with the family and stuff. And I'm just unfortunately, I'm just in a different spot of life than these two with the younger kids. And and it has nothing to do with these two.
Tony, the subs, the people watching, the people of watching has just gone up since you've announced that.
So I know. But I told these guys that I'll let them know when I'm available. If they need me to jump on, I have no problem jumping on. But I definitely, have to step away. It may free up as the boys get older too. So we'll see what happens. But right now, for a while, I have to step away for that. So
yeah,
Sam's the new Sam's taking my spot.
Unfortunately, it's going to be related with Tony leaving for the rest of his career now, and there's going to be a lot of pissed off people in him. Like, I don't like that Sam guy. He's the guy that made Tony leave.
Yeah. I am nothing but free time.
Yeah. So Sam and Joe, I tell you what, it's been great. These guys have been nothing but awesome. I've had so much fun with them. It was very hard for me to say that, for me to make this decision, because for 4 years now, me and Ruff and Jester have come to you almost every Saturday. We missed one.
Almost. There's a
One
couple. There's
Saturday
a
out
couple.
of 4 years, we somebody was on the show. Somebody was up and running. So, but I just can't do that anymore. So, but they're saying Thomas should take my spot for Lauren. So, I guess
You know why? Because that's Thomas's mate. That's why. It's all.
I see. So,
Good choice.
see, Nordic. Yeah, you started already in there. Yes, he has more hair than I do. Yes, we made that comment. So,
Yeah, I'll be the only bald one.
Steven, I started painting miniatures, so now I don't have time for the show. That's so. But no, so you guys will see me on. I mean, you can ask Ruff. There are Fridays where I want to play, and I'm just like, hey, Ruff, family came up, and so we can't play. So, but
well, I mean, we've had a time where during the soccer times and stuff, you've had to miss several weeks in a row, and we were teasing you. Oh, look, Tony finally decided to show up. So we understand life comes up, life gets in the way, and we are going to be sorry to see you go. We enjoyed your time here, we really did, and if we, if things work out and we can get you back, we'll of course always accept you back.
Never say never. Yeah.
You got it. Yep. Agreed. So it's, a couple years from now, if you guys are still going and you need somebody, who knows where I'm going to be at then. I'm hoping you guys don't kill each other. Luckily, you don't live in the same house, so I don't have, or in the same country, so I don't have to worry about that. But yeah. So
what I'm hearing is you played Firefight Tactical, and the next day you announced you're leaving.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
What have you done, Sam? What have you done?
So everybody, go to GMT's P500 and order this thing. Honestly, I've been watching it through the show. We need more. It's still at 577. I don't know why. Oh, guess what? It's at 579 now. So 2 people have ordered it. Thank you.
2 people pre-ordered it.
I know
Nice.
It didn't take that long to get to 500, did it?
Oh, maybe it did.
It's only been a month or so, I think.
It wasn't. No, it was announced in September.
You've
It's
ruined it
still
now,
really?
Sam. I was trying to pick it up there.
Do you know what, Sam? This is we've talked to other designers and stuff. They always say the same thing. And when it first comes out, there's a little bump, and then it's slow trickle, and then until people realize, oh, it's here, and then you get another big bump at the end.
No, the next big thing I'm anticipating. Well, actually 2. Funny story. Don't want to take too much time with it, but we kind of flubbed the announcement for general test. So we will be officially announcing shortly that we're doing open testing. And so I imagine that'll see a bump. And then once my absolutely incredible artist starts to put out the final look at the counters and stuff, I imagine.
Who have you got for the artists? Is it someone that GMT uses?
Yeah.
Or is it
I don't know if I can say who it is yet.
So. Of course you can. It's only us listening. Nobody's listening.
I'm very happy about it, but I don't know if I can say.
Yeah, what's
GMT's been knocking it out of the ballpark with their artwork.
But look at Herman's game, Plum Island. How long did that take? He got loads, but it still took a long time. And as soon as it comes out, he's done an expansion.
Yeah, well,
there you go. So that's what we're looking for. As soon as it's released, Gene will be on your back for an expansion. I'll tell you.
Well, no, that's what I was alluding to earlier. So I'll just tell you outright. I have the Soviets pretty much done,
ready to go. Yeah.
So my Eastern Front is wouldn't take me that much to get there, and that quality of life expansion I mentioned is almost literally done. And so it's kind of thing where if there's momentum there, we would.
Well, I think our live stream last night would have added at least 1 or 2 more. So
actually, it did. It did. It went from 575 to 577.
The show has added a couple, so
So
hopefully,
and honestly, as we play it some more and as it gets more developed, hopefully they get once the artist starts going and we can get a good another
because what we played last night,
we'll put some more on. Yeah.
What we played
last night. See, now that since I'm not here, now me and Jester, we've got to play because I got to get my rant. There's got to be some ranting in my life. So I'm going to have to figure out a time to play with
I know
Jester.
we moan at it, but when we don't get it, we miss it, don't we?
Yeah. So
he
did play Liberty or Death, and I was like, oh, I should have played that with him.
You should have done that.
I waited months and months and months. I'm like, I'm not waiting anymore.
I just say quickly, if anybody watches the live stream and sees the components, that is of course not the finished.
Yeah, that's a play test.
Oh
yeah, I'm still keeping my channel going. It's just
yes, he's just leaving us. That's all he's doing, Nordic. It's nothing to do with his channel and his game playing. He's just leaving me and Jester in the lurch. He's leaving us.
It's just going to be the two of us until we find a replacement, which will take us about 10 minutes.
And I'm still going to try to play with Ruff. And honestly,
yes, please,
on Fridays, and like I said, sometimes it's like Ruff can't play, got to do dad duty.
I get. We're all sort of keyed up to do some playing, and then I get a thing. I'm on taxi service tonight. Fair enough, So.
Yeah. Well, as soon as Natalie gets her license, I won't have a car to drive around anymore, because she'll be using it, so I'll be stuck at home. So
we'll still be doing those.
We'll still be doing our plays. It's just Saturday at this time. There's a lot of family events that happen. Soccer happens. I've got scout stuff that's starting to creep up now on Saturdays, and so it's just family get-togethers, and so yeah. So
the thing is over there, and especially for Sam, it's pretty early still there. You guys, it's like 5 o'clock. Half 5, whatever it is. Here it's 10:30 in the evening, so my day is over when we start this, so it's not too much of a problem. So 9 o'clock.
It's just having the younger kids right now that I'm having to. There's a lot of stuff that I want to do. So we weren't. No, trust me. They said not tweezers as soon as I said something like not tweezers.
Yeah, this is what
I don't know. Tweezers might be good, but I don't like to be outnumbered with the Brits. That doesn't sound like a good option.
Hey, Jester, we were outnumbered and we beat them in the Revolutionary War.
Well, that's only because we wanted to. You two, we got fed up. We run out of money. The French were giving it all this. The Spanish were giving it all that, and our resources were a little bit spread thin on the ground. So we thought, I'll give it to them.
Now, speaking of history, Ruff, which you're going to get into in just a minute, I wanted to ask Sam. So you play war games? Is it because of the game mechanics, or is it because of the history, or a little bit of both? What kind of got you into kind of the war games? Was it the topics, or
both? So I like that. Generally speaking, obviously there's major exceptions to this. The kind of tactics and strategy you have to bring to playing a war game is not something that is, for better or for worse, just sit down and play. It's the kind of thing that you have to put some thought into, and it's something that you can really sink time into. So there's competitive games that I love that are outside of the hobby. And it's like, you can play it 4 or 5 times, and then you're kind of like, all right, I get 80 or 90% of what optimal play is. And then it's kind of run its course at that point. You might bring it out once or twice a year if somebody's, keen on it. But with war games, they're so much deeper generally. On the other side of that, I like that unless you're just the densest person in the world, or the game is poorly designed, I'll mention that. I don't think you can play a historical game and not come out the other side knowing more than you did going in. And that's really special. And so both of those are the individual game I might be approaching for one more so than the other. But
okay.
It's funny you say that, because I played this today.
Today, you fool.
Yes. Right, I played this today for the first time, but I read the rule book, and I had no idea all of the story about what was going on about President Johnson and trying to control, because he was afraid the American people were going to uprise, and so he's like, we have to plan all the attacks. You can be on a mission, and a random event, which happened all the time, I guess, they pull the plug and tell you, no, you can't do that because the president decided that we can't bomb Hanoi anymore or whatever. It's and I had no idea about all this stuff.
Yeah.
Read a few pages, and I'm like, wow, that's really interesting.
I'll tell you, that's even worse for the designer, because I'm working. I'm not going to say anything about this besides the genre.
Just go on.
I'm working on an air combat game, and it was like going into. I was like, I think I know a little bit about air combat. I have spent so much freaking time learning now about air combat that I'm like, oh, I didn't know anything at all. And now it's like, yeah, there's so much.
It's a different animal, isn't it? Same with naval combat. It's just so different. So yeah, but I like it. I'm
as a history teacher.
Sorry.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ralph. Finish.
I was just going to say, every time I play a game, even if it's something I know nothing about, I learn a little weeny bit, and it's good, and that adds up over the years. So
just think, Ruff, he won't be interrupting you anymore.
I'll miss that. No, I'm sorry. I'm welling up. I'm filling up now.
As a history teacher, I appreciate the fact that the history, you learn the history out of the game. It's definitely I'm always curious what attracts to some. Is it the tactics? Is it the strategy? Is it the actual history? Because sometimes it is the history that really, like, a lot of times I find games that I don't know a lot about the topic to actually learn about the topic. Yeah. The Falklands War was one of them. I got Mrs. Thatcher's War because I knew very little about it. Now I know a little bit more about it. Yeah.
That was a big thing for me working on the AmRev game. Was I knew a good bit about the American Revolution, but my best friend / best man, his father, who helped raise me, is a history teacher, now retired, and so his big thing was American Revolution, and so I used him as a consultant while I was pulling a lot of the history bits that ended up getting featured in the game. And like, do you think I'm putting too much emphasis over here? Or, is there some huge blind spot I have over here? And that was on a personal level, that was very special to me. But again, it's like, there's so much room to inject history into these games. And then it's so cool when you then have, when they do it, the playbook or the appendix or whatever, it's like, okay, each card in the game, it's like, yeah, it's just all you got was flavor text, but this is where this comes from.
Yeah.
The coin games with their playbooks and the description of the cards. Yeah, I love that when it comes down to it. It was funny. I was playing A Distant Plane, and Historic Wings, Thomas jumps in, and he was a part of that whole thing, that whole Afghanistan thing. He's like, oh yeah, he was giving me like the play-by-play and the history of that. So really good. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So Ruff, let's do your history today in history.
I'll tell you what, shall I do the history?
Think of all the
we're not going to get this we're not going to get this interaction with some hoi polloi we pull off the streets. You know what I mean? So we will miss you.
Yeah.
What am I doing here? Hold on. No, I don't want that one. Right. 3rd of Feb. What happened today? 1810, the Peninsular War, the Siege of Cadiz begins. And moving on to 1903, the birth of Douglas Hamilton, a pioneering Scottish aviator. He was the eldest of 4 brothers who were to make military history by all being at the rank of squadron leader or above simultaneously at the outbreak of World War II. He was also the youngest squadron leader of his day to be chief pilot on the first flight over Mount Everest in 1933, making it the first detailed and scientific survey of the Himalaya region. 1918, Stephen W. Thompson shoots down a German airplane. This is the first aerial victory by the US military. Well, it would be in 1918, virtually over. Anyway, moving on. 1918 again, SS Tuscania is torpedoed off the coast of Ireland. It is the first ship carrying American troops to Europe to be torpedoed and sunk. And this SS Tuscania was a luxury liner of the Anchor Line, a subsidiary of the Cunard Line, which was like Titanic company, and named after Tuscania in Italy. In 1918, the ship was torpedoed and sunk by the German U-boat UB-77 while transporting American troops to Europe, unfortunately with a loss of 210 lives. And then 1929, first flight of the Firefly 2, which is quite a nice looking plane. A British fighter, single seat, single engine biplane of all metal constructions. Where's Thomas when you need him? He's not here, is he? 1941, World War II, of course, Allied forces begin the Battle of Keren to capture Keren in Eritrea. The Battle of Keren took place from today, 3rd of February, to the 27th of March, 41. Keren was attacked by the British during the East African campaign of the Second World War. A force of Italian regular and colonial troops defended the position against British troops, mostly from Sudan and British India, and Free French forces. The town of Keren, in the colony of Italian East Africa, was of tactical importance to both sides. The road and railway through Keren were the main routes to the colonial capital of Italian Eritrea at Asmara and the Red Sea port of Massawa, which surrendered to the British after the battle. And then 1945, World War II, General Douglas MacArthur, I shall return, returns to Manila. And I think this is the game. Is this the new Revolution game, Manila, the Savage Streets, 1945?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So that was it. And there's one last thing, nothing to do with war games, but it made me laugh out loud when I read this. And of course, it happened over here. 1963, Britain's worst learner driver, Margaret Hunter, was fined for continuing to drive on after her instructor jumped out of the car shouting, "This is suicide." There we are, 3rd of Feb. So there we are.
Wow. That's
good
funny.
stuff.
great.
And I love doing this because I learn a little bit more every week I do
And
this.
we learn all about the British history.
Yeah. No, it's not all about British shit. But the thing you keep making laugh of it. We've got 2,000 years of the bloody stuff.
It's too funny. Oh my god.
But it wasn't. We had MacArthur with his corn pipe there. We had him as well. So we had other bits and pieces. Shut up. I can take it. These shoulders are broad. Yeah. All right.
Good job, Rob.
Next week, I'm going to just have nothing to do with you guys across the stream. I'm just going to make it European and British history. 2 hours of it.
And that's different how?
I knew that one was coming, Ruff. You opened your
I fed him that one, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
All right. So, Sam, I'm thinking of a game. It's a war game. You ever play 20 questions with your kids?
Sure.
Okay, we're doing the same thing. I'm thinking of a war game. You ask me a yes or no question until you guess it, and we see how many guesses it takes you to guess the game I'm thinking of.
Is this going to be? This is not the first question. Is this a genuinely is this a well-known game, or is this going to be something esoteric that I need to try to go pretty?
Well, I would hope that he's not going to pick some game that nobody has played.
Normally it takes them about 10 to 12 guesses. They're getting pretty good at it. It's not, I mean, you will have heard of this game. You will, I can guarantee.
No,
you've heard of this game. No. Yes. I mean, it's yes.
Okay. So am I going now?
You're going now.
Oh, you're going to go first. Right.
Question number 1.
Oh, wait, are we going around with the question?
Yes, correct.
Oh, okay. So who's going first?
You're going first.
Why don't I?
Okay.
All right.
No, wait. We're going to Tony go. It's his last show.
No, I'm starting again. Stop it. No.
Tony, go ahead. You started, baby. Come on.
Okay. Well, this way he gets an idea of how to work.
Right. I get you. All right. Yep. Question number 1.
Okay. So question number 1. Is it post? So after, because we had that issue last time.
Yes. I have
post
nothing
1900.
Post after 1900. Yes. I'll get it right this time.
Who's next?
Okay.
Rough now?
Rough.
We'll go this way. Yeah. So Rough will go next. Yeah.
We're going. We call it anti-clockwise. You call it counterclockwise, don't you?
Yeah, we'll go counterclockwise, Rough.
Okay. Anti-clockwise or anti-clockwise.
Gotcha.
You incorrectly say. Right. So, so after 1900, is it after 1945?
Is it after 1945? No, it is not after.
So now we've got at least 45 years and 350 games.
Was the game published after 2010?
Look, I'll see.
Yes, that's a great question.
see,
Absolutely great question.
these designers,
Sam?
they've got a different brain
You're
to us.
on. You're on. Yeah. Look at
Yeah.
them thinking. Like, let's find out if this is a recent. So, what was the question?
Was it published after 2010?
After 2010? Yes, it was. Yes, sir.
More recent design.
All right, back to you, Tony.
All right, Tone, come on.
This might be your last guess ever. Make it a good one.
Do you see what nonsense we get up to on this show, Sam? It's diabolical. I don't know why the people put up with it.
I'm invested in the game right now. Okay.
Good. So yeah.
Does it take place in and around Europe? That includes waters or land of Europe, or air,
Does it encompass and/or around?
What sort of question is
Europe?
that, Tony?
No, it does
So it's not a European front.
Oh, not
My
European.
way of asking
And we're
that,
assuming it's World War II. Could be First World War.
Oh, I forgot to narrow that
Yeah.
down. Yes. Yep. Mhm.
Is it set during the Second World War?
Yes, as a matter of fact, it is set during the World War of II. Yes.
Is it naval focused?
Yes, it
I
is
got
you.
mostly
I got
naval
What is it with
focused.
that?
Is it silent?
You
Is it
great
Silent
question.
War 2.0?
Is it? So I was just going to say. So the record for everyone keeping track has been 7 guesses. Going around, Tony, Ruff, Sam, Tony, Ruff, Sam. We are now coming up to the 7th. Tony could tie the record on his last show of all time if he guesses this right. And his guess is
Tony, say the bloody game.
Silent Victory 2.0.
Is it Silent Victory 2.0 for the world to tie the world record? No, it's not. Silent War 2.0. Good try, though. That was a hell of a guess.
I had to go for it. It's a
Yeah,
7.
you had to.
I had to go
I'm
for it.
I'm sure Jester gets to the guests and say, "Look, say it's a naval game," because who would have said it? All the guests get
Smart. He's smarter
He's
than
smart.
you two,
He's smart.
obviously. Ruff, go.
Is it? Oh, geez, naval. Is it set in the Pacific Theater?
Yes, it is set in the Pacific Theater of World War II.
Naval World War II Pacific
It was
Theater.
a game that was created
Is it a
after.
compass game?
Is it a compass game? Is the question. Let me think about that. Yes, it is a compass game. Tony's thinking, oh man, I was so close, wasn't I?
Yeah, it was a compass game. Silent War is a compass game.
Yeah, it was a compass game. Yeah, so that's why.
Oh! Think package that he got in.
That's why I said Silent War. That's the one I remember.
Think of the other one.
All I remember is the air one. Oh, is it Philippine Sea? Is it Carrier Battle Philippine Sea?
Yes, as a matter of fact, it is right there. That's why I said I can. That was my hint when I said, I know you've heard of this game because I mentioned it earlier. I know that you had heard me mention this game. And unfortunately for you, Tony, I just happened to look over to the left, and this was This was in front of the other one. If it would have been like this, I would have chosen this one.
Well, that's still not a bad.
Not a bad try. Yeah, you guys got it in. Let's see, 7, 8,
10,
9, 10. Yeah, 10. Not bad. So you see how we play, huh, Sam?
Yep.
You're probably never going to have another interview like this. Let me tell you.
No, you're not. They're all going to be very serious.
You're going to appreciate us a little bit more.
They're all going to be
when you get an interview and all they do is ask you question after question after question. You're going to be like, man, they never gave me a break. They never
asked me what's my favorite sandwich. What's your favorite sandwich, Sam?
Banana sandwiches with butter.
Banana. Sandwiches. Yeah, God, yeah, they're great. They're great. They are. Remind me of my childhood.
Two answers. It's going to be either a Mediterranean sandwich that really strongly features Kalamata olives or a meatball sub.
Oh,
okay. Damn, I like you even more. Damn,
You're never going to be asked. Never going to be asked that sort of question with a grognardi type of interview.
Oh my God, I love this.
No, they're all going to watch
right, Sam? Because I could move in with you right now.
I actually got very picky when I was living in college. And I was eating Subway sandwiches all the time. I had a custom meatball sub that I got on a regular basis that I called a Mariano Rivera for the baseball fans out there.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
And they're now giving us all their. I assume these are sandwiches that I've never heard of.
Yeah, Cuban is a great sandwich, by the way. I love Cuban. And
Reuben's amazing. Yeah. Reuben's like a runner.
It's funny, Sam, that you mentioned this Mediterranean sandwich because my wife is making a Mediterranean dish to take out to her Mardi Gras thing, and I forget what she called it. I'll have to ask her what she called it again. But she said,
it's a Birmingham sandwich.
There's no such thing. God. There's no such thing. And why do you call it Birmingham? It's Birmingham.
The Mets have never been the best New York team at any point in the history of baseball.
Who's your favorite baseball team?
You've got to say.
So funny thing about me as a baseball fan, I was raised. So I'm from New York, and so I was a Yankees fan when I was raised.
I'm sorry.
And so half the family was Yankees fans, half the family was Mets fans, and then when we moved to California when I was a kid, they were like, oh, you know, what's your team out here? And at the time, I was catching so much flack, like, oh, the Yankees buy all their talent. And so at the time, that was the same kind of thing where people were saying about the Dodgers. And so even though my West Coast family was all LA Dodgers, I ended up going SF Giants. And then ended up being
Baltimore Orioles. It's got to be Baltimore, sorry.
Ruff has gotten into baseball.
It took us 4 years to get Ruff interested in baseball. 4 years.
Orioles. Why
because everybody I know that's a Baltimore Orioles fan, with apparently the exception of you, is from Baltimore. So that's why.
Oh, right. Okay.
He's got the hat and everything. Where's your hat, Ruff?
It's upstairs. I have to wear that next time. I wear that next time. I love it. I love it.
Orioles hat. Unbelievable.
That's right. I would have probably been a New York Giants fan if I was there 100 years ago, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
So then I came out, and then I was like, oh, and I mean, also the story of that, me coming from New York, so did the Giants. I mean, that was kismet, and then I got to enjoy. I was living in the Bay during their dynasty. And so I got to go to a whole bunch of their postseason games, and I was there for their 2012 pennant win.
I forgot to share. Sorry.
That's all right. We'll get rid of it.
Don't even talk to me about the Giants because they beat my
Tigers. Go ahead, share it, because I want to prove that it was actually that and not the other one because there. So yeah, I already had that up. I forgot to share it with him, but
yeah, I
didn't want Tony to be like, I guessed it right, and he just picked the other game.
Yeah. Okay, I could see what Tony would think that. Yes, I could see.
I know, right?
Yeah.
The other thing is, cheating him out of his victory, and
I got into baseball. I never was. They talk about baseball, and I pick up a book from my library that is not there anymore because it's full of games, and I just start reading, because it was boring. But then suddenly I got into baseball, and I got a couple of baseball games. And I love it. And
you got any baseball games, Sam? Do you play any like Stratomatic, APA, Inside?
I may or may not be very hard at work, including today on a baseball game of my own. But I also, yes, I play a number of baseball games. I have never, and part of the reason I am working on a baseball game is I have never been happy with a baseball game except one. Which was bottom of the ninth by Greater Than Games. Every other, and I want to note, part of the reason I don't care for baseball games is they're all stat cruncher stuff. By trade, I am a statistician.
Oh, so it's like a busman's
yes.
holiday for you. Yeah, you can't
Right,
stand.
maybe that's it.
I'm,
But
going, I'm
it's
leaving
like,
work to go home and do more work. Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah.
I've never cared
Yeah.
for what
Yeah,
passes.
I enjoy the stats. I enjoy the actually getting ready to
Yeah,
play.
I mean,
Wait till you
All
see
classic.
my thing. I'll be very.
well,
I'll be
I'll
very
tell you
curious
what, Sam,
what you think
send
of
it to
my-
me if you want to play testy. I'll send it to me. Yeah, and I'll give it a crunch through. And
Oh,
we'll play. I mean, I
it's-
play season ticket. That's the only one I play because it's free, and I've bought some seasons, but it's crunchy enough for me to enjoy. And I love baseball, even though it's based on a British children's game
Actually,
called Rounders.
actually, not completely. It's a mix of about 7 other sports. Actually, I'm currently in the history of sports in
Basically, a kid's game
America
called Rounders.
master's class, and we're just getting into baseball right now. And it actually is a mix of a whole bunch of different sports.
There's got to be some cricket in there as well. I would have thought.
Yeah, actually, it used to be called Town Ball, and they actually played till they reached 100 runs. You could have like 2 to 50 players on each team. It was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy. So yeah.
But
No,
I
I'm
mean,
not inclined to it.
a lot of people think watching baseball, from what I gather, is boring. But I love it. I'm sitting there with my hat on, and just watching all the Baltimore Oriole games last year. And
you got the MLB package.
yeah, I
and-
got
oh
the
my
yes, I could
God.
watch the games and couldn't watch them live because it's like 4 o'clock in the
We
morning.
tried
you know.
for 4 years. He wouldn't pay. He wouldn't pay
No.
any attention. And all of a sudden, like one weekend, boom.
All right, here I come. This is soapbox time for me because I talk about this all the time. So many people I have to deal with say baseball is boring. Okay, there's two, as far as I'm concerned, there's 2 axes of sport, right? You have your athletics-based sports, which like the top of that would be, soccer/football and basketball, and then you have your skill-focused sports. And for me, the top of that is baseball. And the best way I can call out why baseball is so spectacular in that regard is the concept of errors. You're so expected to play at a superhuman level all the time that if you don't perform at superhuman level, it's an error that's on your record forever.
Yeah. I love it. I love watching it. Because you got your man coming up, and you think he's going to be, and he doesn't. And it's thingy. I mean, football. You can say something about football. I mean, do you realise you call it soccer? There's only you and Australia in the world that calls it soccer.
Yeah, and pretty much so we're the only ones on the imperial system. But hey,
Yeah.
But anyway, your American football. I mean, some people would see that boring.
For the record, I said soccer/football is in soccer/football. I didn't mean American football.
Oh right, but I'm talking American football.
Yeah,
I mean, I used to watch it a lot, American football. I may well get into it again. Damn you guys! But anyway, some people could think it was boring to watch because they go kick off, crunch, and they move half a yard, and you think, oh, it stops. They have a tea break, they have a cup of coffee, and they get together again. But no, if you understand what's going on, I think it's and I'm no expert with baseball.
I got to jump on Mark Maelstrom here. They fail 2/3 of the time. The pitcher is throwing the ball so fast that the nerve conduction can't fully process the ball. So they're actually swinging before they fully are able to process what is happening with the ball. They're at the limit.
That's what I love. Because they're going to throw it, and they'll throw a fast one, and the bloke goes, and they'll throw another one, and then they'll throw a slow one that goes like this, and the bloke just, and you think,
you're setting him up. I love
The other thing great about baseball is the people think it's boring. It's like, oh, he just threw the ball 5 times and he never hit it, and then he was out. And I'm just like, that's what you saw. Do you have any idea what was going on with those?
What they don't see is this ball coming here, and his brain's going, right, I'm going to hit it here, and then suddenly it goes, and they miss it. They look like a sissy.
And you have to, like Sam said, you have to decide halfway home whether you're swinging or not, because otherwise you're going to be late.
Yep.
And so by that time, the ball might be 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet from where.
That's just the story of the fastball versus the changeup, where the bit that they can see, that very tiny window where they can actually perceive the ball, they look the same, but they're entirely different. and the speed is off, and so they just swing way early and miss by a mile. That's freaking amazing.
Yeah.
But oh no, it's so boring.
What I like is the guys that have read it and hit the bloody thing, and they hit it, and it's a sweet hit on the sweet part of the bat.
By the way, the wife made a muffalata salad, which is based on a Mediterranean sandwich. So I didn't know if that was
Kalamata olives in it. I'm there.
okay.
Anyway,
It has
Tony,
olives and a bunch of
Tony.
stuff.
Yeah,
I've got this.
this is for me. I usually put it in for everything else. I want this game.
Yeah,
I want this game, and it needs to be reprinted. And there's only 226. Actually, this is a solitaire game. It's kind of cool because as you're going through, if you're winning too much, they make you flip sides. So then you're going after the side that was like running away with it. So I think it's kind of fun as a solitaire game because you have that, and it's a Mark Herman game. He does great jobs. This is like the second edition of the first. There's like a original edition. This is like the second edition. So this is a second printing, and it's got everything. But I've been looking for it because I want it. So please.
Well, do what I do and order it, and you don't have to pay out for it. You'll save money until it's ready.
Oh, it's already at. I don't need to add another one to my cart because God knows I've done that a time or two. So.
Hey, you guys got me to 580. Thank you.
Oh, sweet! There you go. Sweet. So
you want a kickback?
I want to piggyback on that. I gotta share this because I'm so happy about this. One of the best games that everybody was scared to play was Hitler's Reich. I believe that was Mark McLaughlin.
Wasn't that because of the rules, though?
Yeah, the rule book was heinous, but then Kai Jensen did it, and with the redo, the game is phenomenal, but it's kind of ship had sailed. And so then I'm pretty sure it was Mark, but he put up his Hannibal game, Hannibal's Revenge, which I jumped on immediately because the system is brilliant. And then no one was ordering it because of Hitler's Reich. It was so poorly perceived. And then Gene just announced at the last news, screw it, we're printing Hannibal's Revenge anyway. And I'm like, I'm so happy.
Is it solo-ish friendly?
Yeah, it's solo very.
Yeah, because I've ordered it. Because I don't know what I've ordered, Sam. I've ordered everything. It's just crazy. I hate this hobby.
That's a good one to show us, Tony. Thank you.
Yeah. So I was like, I wanted to get it, and then when I went to go get it, it's been sold out, and I'm not going to pay second market price.
Do you want to go over your nose one more time for all those people that are just joining us?
Yeah, just in case anybody heard. So I have a ton of Saturday commitments over the next year or so that's going to leave Ruff and Jester in the lurch, and I can't do that. So I'm going to step away for the foreseeable future. No, find somebody.
Leaving has left us in the lurch, you rotten.
I know.
Okay,
I know.
I'm joking.
I deserve that, Ruff. I deserve that. But
darling, I'm joking.
Yeah, I know. I expected some crap from both of you, so that's why I gave you time to think about it before I should have just sprung it up on you guys in the middle of the show. So
that would have been great. Yeah,
we would have thought you were joking, though.
That would have been terrible.
But I just have so much commitments that I can't leave Jester putting the show together, and it's a labor of love, though. I do love it, and it's a lot of fun. But I just don't have I can't do the Saturday commitments. I have so much other stuff for family, so I'm going to step away. They're going to try to find somebody to replace me, which
2 or 3 people, I think.
Yeah, you're going to find. Yeah, I know. Yeah, good luck replacing me. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
I'm going to go with that.
Tony, that's the exact attitude to have. Yeah, good luck.
You guys are still going to do your Wednesday or Friday thing, aren't you?
As much as I can.
Well, we can.
Yeah. So I'm not cutting my channel, or I'm not going to stop playing games. It's just that
he's just divorcing himself from us, Jester. That's what he's doing.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
And if you're still watching,
I'm sorry that he's leaving. It was a good run. It was 4 years. It's a long time. So I'm
when we started this, by the way,
around.
We started this,
surprised we're still around.
When I got into this, we were at COVID lockdown, and there was nothing going on. So I had every Saturday, every Sunday, everything was. I had more time than I could do.
Tony, shut up. Now, because we've only got 5 minutes left. So
Okay.
if you haven't
4.
done so already, I think we're still having problems with that like button. If you could push the old thumbs up, I think it's a bit sticky. So if you could push it just once, the like button, that would be wonderful. And if you haven't subscribed to everybody, please subscribe. And if you've got any last minute questions for Sam, who's been a fantastic guest, who's joined in the fun and
He's
everything.
all right. He's all right.
He's fine. Yeah. But if there's any more questions about firefighting,
Tactically.
firefighting formations for some reason, please ask. But then I've been drinking wine again. So ask away, because and if go and watch our live stream, it's a
bloody good game.
It's a bloody good game. Yeah.
It's going to be, once you get the good artwork and everything. I mean, the mechanics are there. Once you get the good artwork,
it looks okay now, any questions?
Seeing the playtest artwork from Mike's Wolfpack to what it is now. Oh my God.
Completely different.
Like it is night and day, and you get so immersed into it. Sam, have you seen the artwork from Mike's Wolfpack? Yeah, it's gorgeous. Yeah, it really
if
it
you
gets you into the game.
Played it to what it looks now, it's a completely different thing.
Yeah. So I know once you guys get that artwork in there, it's really gonna really stand out, and
I can't.
It'll be fun to have out. And it'll go to every convention I go to, and so I can play it in the evening, because I know once you get the rules, because the rules are really not that complex. It's one of those not complex game, but it's extremely deep. There's a lot to it, and it's not hard to learn, and that's always a good one. So,
well, if I can learn it with Mike teaching me, anybody can.
I only see one Firefight Tactical question. What's my favorite baseball player of all time? I probably teased that earlier.
Wait, I'm asking serious questions now. Come on, we've had a.
I probably teased it earlier. It's most likely Mariano Rivera. I love a good closer, and I love a good cutter. So he had the best cutter.
There you go.
Oh, I hated him and loved him at the same time, because I'm not
just
a fan
learning
of the
technical terms, cutters and closer and all that. I'm still a newbie at that.
The only other one he fell off a bus, but Brian Wilson, that was the closer.
Oh, yeah. And his beard.
His skill disappeared. Later. But for those years he was hot. He was absolutely indomitable. And
he was great in the Beach Boys as well.
Yeah. And also worth noting, cutter. So yeah, I'm a big fan of a cutter, because it's just striking out with the cutter just so good.
That's the type of pitch, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Sam, when me and Ruff do play, we'll let you know, and we'll try to get you involved into the stream as well.
You'll come up on us.
Yeah, and if there's any screenshots or information, you got our emails, you can forward it to us, and we can talk about it in the show, whether you're here or not. We'll probably be talking about you next week.
Hold on, I gotta fill this question from Ian. There is no general event chart. Every scenario has its own unique event table that's specific.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, remember you only saw one scenario that were really sort of the first scenario. So yeah.
The other thing is the exception to that is I did create generic event tables for the custom scenario cards.
Oh, yeah.
So when you come up with a custom scenario, you'll be able to say, oh, it's this sort of, it's attacking a fixed position, or that's kind of how the custom scenarios are organized. Those will have a generic event table. You can.
Yeah, Ian was asking good questions last night during the stream too.
Yeah, Ian. Yeah.
I don't know. I know, Sam, you were answering them as fast.
Ian, we're looking for someone to join our crew. So
I'll tell you what. If it's, I think it's you, Ian. That, when I do my combat, he picked up on something when you look at what the opposition orders are, and I didn't realize there was a field. I thought open was because it's right down the bottom, and I forgot. When they're in the field, they have their own separate little thing on the chart there. So thanks for that, Ian. I'm sure it was you, yeah. So he comes in with some good stuff, and he's also on his 10 games. You've seen the games he's playing. He's playing some good games on his 10 game challenge. So
yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Coy. I need that.
Yeah. If you guys are interested, please pre-order this game, because we'd like to fast track it. If this game gets like 1,500 pre-orders, it's going to get fast tracked. So let's just get the word out, boys.
That would be obscene. If that
Share,
happened.
share, and share
I just
alike, and tell
retire.
everybody to get this game.
Yeah, it is.
Unfortunately, it won't be around because I've got to go to a convention in May over here. We have our first proper wargaming, not miniatures, but a proper board gaming wargaming convention over here. And if it was ready, I'd take that with me and teach everybody. But I don't think it'll be ready in May, unfortunately.
Next year, maybe?
Next year, I'll do it next year. Yeah, I'll take it next year and teach everyone. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's a great evening game because, they all play the proper big games during the day. And then the evening, when you're sort of chilling down.
Well, again, wait till I alluded to it earlier, but wait till multiplayer.
Yeah, big scenarios, multiple things go. Yeah.
But anyway, look, crikey, we're up to the 2 hours. It goes so quick.
Yeah,
what can I say? But Sam, thank you so much for coming on at short notice. Yesterday I asked you and you came on. So thank you, my friend.
No problem.
Hoping to be the first of many.
It's great
and
fun.
As Jester said, if you've got any updates, just let us know. If you've got some big news, you want to come back on the channel, let us know.
Sure.
When we get back to playing the game with Tony,
Tony's still around,
Yeah, and you'll be on. You'll come on the stream as well, so you can put Mike right because he tries, bless him. So just joking. So yeah, but thanks, and also thanks to over 50 odd people watching this malarkey.
Yeah, and thanks to Tony for your 40
Tony,
years.
Thank you.
Dedication. We will. I mean, we get around because we love you, but we do.
God knows
appreciate
what we're going to do next week, but it's up to you, Jester, because you're hosting. But thanks, everyone. So, and Sam, when we go off live, just stay around for a couple of secs while we thank, when we go off there. But thanks, everyone.
Thanks a lot for watching.
God knows what's happening next week, but we'll let you know. Until then, as always, you lot take care and goodbye. And we love you, but there's nothing you can do about it, you see. See you all later.
See ya.